And we're back with another Six Nations Fantasy Rugby video, and as promised, it's on the best players to look out for this year. If you're new here, then please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button if you enjoy. So without further ado, let's just get into it. We can't start anywhere else, can we? Antoine DUPONT is World Player of the Year, and he has been a class above the rest of the world this past year. As I explained in my previous video, he was the highest scoring scrum half in last year's Six Nations Fantasy. His support lines are second to none, which makes him a real try-scoring threat. He also was named France's captain last year, which just shows how reliable the coaches think he is, not only in attack but also in defence. With Sean Edwards as defence coach, I think DuPont can continue to be the best player in the world, and maybe with Untamak outside him, I believe that pair can be the best in the world. So watch out this tournament, lots of special things to come from DuPont. Easily another one of the Six Nations fantasy greats is Stuart HOGG. As I've said before many times, meters made is an easy way to get fantasy points. And who better in the world at running the ball back at the opposition than Stuart HOGG? The Scotland captain is probably in the form of his life, having just come off the back of being the starting fullback for the Lions. He's also very fond of the try line, isn't he? Especially in the Six Nations. And with Scotland relying on him in decisive moments, HOGG is a great pick in your fantasy team. Another man who is fond of try scoring, Rhys Sammet made the Six Nations his breakout tournament by helping Wales lift the trophy. His pace sets him apart from anyone else in the world, and that is pretty amazing to have. He may not have had the experience of other players on this list, but his rise to stardom has been pretty decent. I expect Wales to utilise him as they play the underdogs in most games, so expect an intercept try or two from Sammet. Another Welshman now, but this time on the other wing. Josh Adams has come off the back of top try scorer for the British and Irish Lions, an achievement which can't be undermined, even if the series didn't live up to the hype. I really rate Adams. He doesn't seem to be on the highlights reel, like a Sammet or Van der Merwe, but he always performs well. I remember last Six Nations when he scored that try against England from a crossfield kick. He's very opportunistic, and that's why he'll be a threat in this year's Six Nations. He'll also probably be one of the more senior players in the Wales squad, so watch out for him. Now on to more gritty positions. ELLIS GENGE is an interesting option because you don't necessarily associate props with scoring lots of tries or running lots of meters. But GENGE is different. Even though he doesn't score many tries, his carry count is normally higher than anyone else on the pitch. This year for Leicester, he's been made captain, and we all know how well they're doing. I think GENGE can have a huge impact on England. I also think for a prop option, he's great because other props will not get around the pitch like he does, which means fantasy points for GENGE. Teddy Thomas looks a real great option this year. With Racing topping the European Champions Cup, Thomas has been living off the sublime plays, and this France squad will be no different. I expect lots of opportunities for French wingers, and no one capitalises better than Thomas. There is a risk that other players might be picked ahead of him, due to the high competition in this French squad, but for me I think Thomas is nailed on and is certain to score points. Now for a relatively surprise pick maybe, but certainly not for Irish fans. CAELAN DORIS has been a real force for Ireland of late, and of course for Leinster. He scored a few tries in last year's Six Nations, which is always handy for a back row. Put this together with all the tackling and jackling he seems to do, Doris is a great pick, especially with Ireland in good form at the moment. But once again, just watch out for competition in the Irish back row. But did I mention that he actually won Autumn Nations Player of the Series, so he definitely should not be overlooked. Tom Curry is another hard-working back row who seems to lead fantasy points nearly every game he plays. If you want someone to carry and tackle, you can't pick anyone else. He is so good at just doing the hard work. Unfortunately for us, this is rewarded in fantasy points. There is a possibility Curry plays at 8 as well, which might mean a few more carries. But if I'm honest, I hope he plays flanker, which is his normal destructive position. Maybe another surprise pick for you all here is French hooker MAUVAKA. We will all know his tries against New Zealand and his rise to fame in the Autumn Nations. He's a quality player who also gets stuck in and sits at the back of that driver maul ready to score points. What I would say with MAUVAKA is that he's not nailed on to start, so if I were you, I would be seriously considering him as a super sub option. And if I were the opposition, I would hate to see him coming onto the field late in the game. And last but certainly not least is Marcus Smith. Smith has been delivering week after week with Harlequins, snatching last minute winners nearly every other game. And with the injury to Owen Farrell, Smith's importance to the England side increases. Eddie Jones likes to play a tactical game, which can include kicking when needed. But on the other hand, when it's time to play, Smith can unlock any door. For me, he's on par with Finn Russell, but maybe a bit less daring. As an English fan, I can't wait to see how Smith does in what will be his first Six Nations. So that's a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed, then please hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me out and lets me know if you guys want more videos. I'll be bringing out another video very soon with the best cheap players to look out for, as opposed to, say, the most expensive. So keep an eye out for that, stay tuned, turn notifications on if you don't want to miss out. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.